Good morning. Good Sunday. Actually, it's afternoon now. This is Dee with Critical Break. It's been a busy week. Started out with a bang because of the research I did with the ascension symptoms. So it was a very interesting beginning to the week. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But we arrived at Sunday, and it's been a very odd week. The energy, I think, with that, the fall equinox, and there was a full moon in that period too. The energy was really strange and it wasn't high level, that's for sure. It was more subdued, and it seemed to affect people a great deal. And I don't know, it's just an observation I had with the recent fall equinox. So anyway, I'm gonna check chat and see how everybody's doing. How is it going? Very good to see everyone. I've got a lot of stuff to cover today. Well, not a ton. I was going to keep it short today because today is going to be the beginning of our first group-wide meditation, which should be very good for all of us, I think, and good for the planet as a whole. So I'm excited about that. And directing our intent and our gifts, our abilities, using those towards the good of the planet. So anyway, I'm going to, let's see, I was going to talk about a couple of things. I got the processor in my computer replaced. Yay! And it now recognizes my RAM cards, all of them, instead of just one. The other thing I did, which is going to be a huge benefit, is after I did the processor, I reloaded Windows finally. So we won't be getting any more of the annoying blue screen asking for my serial code, key code for Windows anymore. So, so that is out of the way and no longer a problem. So when I'm doing share screens, you'll notice in past videos that was popping up because I didn't take the time. I was too busy doing research and taking care of other things to deal with the computer issues. Well, I finally got to that part of my to-do list, and those are taken care of. Yay! So no more of that nonsense going on in the middle of live streams. So that's good. I ended up having to reload all my programs and everything. It was absolutely a pain in the neck, but I'm glad I got it over with. Anyway, hello, Sir Tony. Good to see you. But yeah, got that done. Something else. Oh, I got a code yesterday morning, which was 811, and I got a code again in the wee hours this morning at 4:47. So I have 2 code videos to do. I'll probably do one of those after this stream today, at least one. Who knows, I may try to knock out the other one, but if not, I'll try to get it done in the next day or so. Luckily, I've got some things going on, but not a ton, and I plan on doing some fall house cleaning, hopefully, over the next few weeks, you know, just or however long it takes me. Having the damage done to the DNA makes things, because I'm still in the recovery process. I'm definitely not 100%. I wish I was. Hello, Sir Scotty. Great to see you. Wish I was 100%, but I'm still not. I'm better than I was because I spent a great deal of time extremely ill. So now I'm finally getting to the point that I can do a little bit here and there, but there's always a price for me to pay after I do stuff like vacuuming, dusting, things like that. If I kick up dust or anything like that, and as you saw by the symptoms, even physical exertion can be a problem for us. So I have to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, when I do any sort of housework or anything, literally anything. So, but I do plan on doing that. I've got one of those wild hairs that cannot be squashed, and I want to lighten, you know, years of collected extra cords, and I mean, the list goes on and on. Just stuff, you know, you got to look at it this way. It's a cluttered house leads to a cluttered mind. So it's good to, you know, keep things thinned out. So I'm going to be doing that probably over the next few weeks. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to try. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you had a good week. Sir Tony had some interesting dreams. His videos, they're always entertaining. Let's see, what else is going on? There's been a lot of odd things in the news in general. I haven't looked at it a whole lot this week, just because I get so well, I normally don't look at it anyway. And the only reason I had been of late is because I was kind of prompted to. So anyway, you saw something today about targeted individuals are getting frequencies sent at them that make teeth fall out. I guess from radiation. I'm still going to try to fight it with your suggestions, but I don't know. Okay. Part of that, it's true. If you share our genetic code, the MTHFR, I am hyper sensitive to RF, EMF. That includes like your fluorescent lighting, cell phones, Wi-Fi, and all of that. And so the more local towers, including radio stations, television, anything like that, that are next to your house, or if you have those smart meters for your electric, or if you have the power lines, the really high voltage power lines nearby, or a power station near your home, that can be an issue. And then some of the people specifically are targeted, I think, with frequencies of varying types. And part of that is the virus experimenting on us. And part of it's just our genetics in general being near any of that stuff. If you live close to anything like that and you are drenched in it day in and day out, that's an issue. So you need to make your environment around you, especially where you live, where you spend most of your hours of the day, free of that as much as possible. And, turn off the Wi-Fi in your house as often as possible, especially at night when you go lay down. Just unplug it. It'll reset when you plug it back in the morning. So, cell phones, put them in airplane mode or turn them off. Because you want the Wi-Fi and the cell signal to stop. Because just simply cutting the Wi-Fi to those cell phones isn't enough. And it varies from phone to phone, but the amount that comes out of them can be quite tremendous. So, yeah. And, pay attention to your environment. Where's your house located? Are there tons of really of the really big power line? Is there a power station nearby? Is there a radio station nearby? A tower, cell towers nearby, things like that. If you pay attention to those things, it can make a difference. But yes, as far as those making your teeth fall out, when our genetics gets tampered with or harmed, one of the things that happens is the Ehlers-Danlos, which is the collagen connective tissue issue. And that's indeed why the teeth are having a problem. So the radiation isn't actually damaging the teeth, it's damaging your DNA. And in turn, you develop an issue with Ehlers-Danlos, and then your teeth start going haywire. So it's kind of a chain reaction, is a good way to put it. But you saw in that Metatron, well, the supposed Metatron channeling, you saw things in there that, yeah. It talked about all these symptoms, and all those symptoms line up exactly with problems with our actual genetics being under attack. So, yeah. And pay attention to fluorescent lighting. Get rid of that too. And stay out of it as much as you can. I know some of you probably have jobs where you're under fluorescent lighting a lot. So the more you can do to kind of counteract that, the better. I mean, you're going to get radio frequencies from just having a computer running, even if it's hardwired into a router, which mine are. I don't use Wi-Fi for my computers. They've got wires going to them from the routers. So I have devices that are Wi-Fi, but I don't use them very often. I try to limit that. So you've noticed cell towers being on retirement homes, hospitals quite often. Yeah, Sir Steve shared a thing from over in the UK where they've got these really high-powered, because they're starting to launch the 5G right now, and they've got one right next to a daycare, grade school area. right next to it. So the kids are just being saturated. And the parents and everybody pulled their kids out of the school and demanded the darn thing be taken out. Don't blame them. Smart parents. Very smart. So hopefully other people in other communities will start recognizing things like that and start doing exactly that. Put your foot down. You're done. You're not having it. And approaching other parents and stuff, because let's face it, there's a lot of people that are asleep. But if they realize, if you can show them in an informative, cheerful way, the information, about what these things are doing to us, even the most asleep parent will listen, because it's about their kids, or at least most of them. Let's face it, there's some people that have children that have no business. It's kind of like doctors that have no business being doctors. There's parents that have no business being parents. So they wouldn't even care. Good morning, Mo Catel. Good morning. Or afternoon, I should say. Sorry. And J9M, good to see you too. But yeah. Some of the other, the list of symptoms that I was showing you all with mast cell activation disorder, Ehlers-Danlos, and dysautonomia, which is posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS for short. There's other symptoms beyond what were listed there, because I've had them. I had all those symptoms, every one of those that was listed, plus some, like hair falling out. That's common. Another thing that's common, let me see if you guys can tell. I'm not sure. Let me move the chat. See if you guys can tell from my finger. See my fingernail? Notice I don't have a moon, which is right here, right down here is a little white part on most people's fingernail. People with Ehlers-Danlos frequently will not have moons on their fingernails. Just look at your hand. That's one way to tell. Yeah, Sir Scotty, I appreciate that. That is so sweet. I really, really appreciate you all trying, because you all will find, just like I have found, that getting people to actually listen, even if this is actually happening to them and they know it, because, like I said, I was explaining why I went into so much detail and tried to explain it so well, and why the video was so long, was because many are not processing, because this causes like a brain fog. And they're just not processing very well. And I don't know. It's hard, because getting people to listen, it is free will. Even if it's damage that's been caused by the virus, or programming caused by the virus, the programming is heavy. and it's very hard to get through it sometimes. So I understand frustration when you all try to share things and people don't listen. I understand. I share that frustration. I understand it. Um, Sir Scotty, yeah, you have no moons, and your nails have vertical lines. Yes, Ellers Danlos. Welcome to the angelic family. Because you guys, with that genetics, are indeed a special type of human. I've got a little fruit fly or something flying around in here. You all do share a very, very special, there's something special about you. And that's why they're going after our genetics. Like I said, if you were trying to rule the world, who would you go after? Those that are easily controlled and manipulated, or those that could cause you a great deal of trouble? Food for thought. It's very good to see all of you. So yeah, Sir Scotty, yeah, you having no moons on your fingernails, and sometimes, like, occasionally my health will get good enough and I'll start to get moons on my thumbs. I actually have a little bit of a moon now, very little though, on my thumbs, but my other fingers, no moons, nothing. That has been something that they've noticed. Some of the doctors that are and physicians and such that are researching this have noticed is the no moons on your fingernails, or no moons on some of them. It depends on the state of the collagen. If your collagen's starting to repair, and mine is, you'll start to get your moons back. Like I'm starting to get them on my thumbs, but I don't have any anywhere else. So, and yeah, I get, my nails will get real dry and get these really deep lines in them, which are really weird. And it's caused because when you have MTHFR genetics and it's been damaged, you're not methylating. You're not, a methylation means processing. You're not processing minerals and vitamins and things. And so, or amino acids and things like that. So, and it depends on what SNPs inside that MTHFR genetic code that get assaulted or damaged. Depends on, that's why all of you will be fairly unique, as far as what treatments work for you, because some of you won't process protein right. Some of you won't process some certain amino acids, say, like most of you can process L-lysine, but guess what? This girl can't process L-lysine. I also have trouble with protein, so that made sense. Some of you process carbohydrates really bizarre, and you'll gain tons of weight from eating a normal a normal amount of carbohydrates, and you'll have to eliminate them to lose weight because you just process them too well. It's very bizarre. We're all unique, but some of us will share certain characteristics. It just depends on what SNPs inside that MTHFR genetics got damaged, basically. So, and there's other things besides the folic acid and vaccinations and things that can cause damage to that. Exposure to chemicals or drugs can damage that genetics too. And so a lot of people will find that they were fine and then they go in for a surgery, or they have a child or something like that, and suddenly afterwards their body goes completely haywire. just all of a sudden. Or others will be like me, born with it and slowly develop problems. But the more insults that happen, like the folic acid and all that, the worse we get. So staying away from those things and figuring out what all is causing issues is huge. And our food chain's a big part of that. Huge. Let's see, MAS 2018. I watched an hour of your ascension symptoms. Yeah, I didn't resonate with the fear or couldn't understand. I know you might think that sounds fear, but it's not. It's actually arming you with knowledge so that you know what to do for yourself. Fear would be telling you there's nothing you can do and you're screwed. That would be fear. What I'm trying to do is arm you with information so you don't end up being misled and getting worse because you're thinking it's something that it's not and not seeking the the help that you need. So it's not about fear. It's definitely about knowledge. And that's one thing I try to tell you guys. Don't fear anything. There's nothing you should fear because what you all really are, who and what you really are, you're extremely powerful. You're fledgling creators created in the image of the creator. So keep that in mind. What I was pointing out in that website from 1996 is that particular channeling of Metatron was the timing it was released was right at the same time that folic acid was being pushed out into the public arena and into our food chain. The timing is uncanny. It was also to show you guys that there's some things being posted that aren't factual, or things that may have been factual that are being altered. So that is what that was about. But let's see what else we've got here. Can you let me know? This little fruit fly is just going crazy. It keeps flying right up here. Can you let me know in a roundup now? I don't have much time tonight. I'm RH neg. So I guess I have the genetics. Yeah. It's been my observation that all RH negatives have MTHFR genetics. So if you are RH negative, you see that little guy? He is just, there he is. Get out of here. So yeah, if you have RH negative blood, you very likely have MTHFR genetics. I understand you think we are being, yes, our genetics are under attack. I won't back down on that statement, period, because it is. There's no doubt in my mind. Look at MTHFR genetics. Look at spectral disorders. Children that have Asperger's or autism, and people are linking them with the vaccinations. Between vaccinations, chemicals, GMOs, folic acid, being introduced. That one's like the biggest one. That one's like the icing on the cake. Because when the government starts willy-nilly adding, and it wasn't willy-nilly, but when they start adding things like that to the food chain that damages our genetics, yeah, it's under attack. There's no doubt in my mind. Good. I hope you don't fear anything, because you shouldn't. But yeah, knowledge, arm yourself with knowledge. Your health has dropped drastically in the last 2 years. Yeah, that's common. And it's an accumulative effect. It's the more that you're exposed to it, and just simply eating healthier isn't enough to do it. Because if you really look, everything um, uh, everything in the supermarket has, or nearly everything has, folic acid in it. If you look at anything that says it's enriched, if you look at anything that says it's enriched or fortified, even the foods on the shelf that are organic and supposed to be good for you, they have folic acid in them. Even organic flour. I have to really pay attention. There's only a specific brand of flour that I buy because it's the only one that's not putting it in there. The other way to get around all that is buy from local farmers markets. You have to be resourceful. If you're eating anything from the grocery store, it's a problem. And if you're getting, if you shop in the outer aisles of the supermarket, even your fruits and vegetables and stuff, you need to wash them because a lot of them are coated with a wax and pesticides. I can't even, I mean, very few things I actually buy at a grocery store. Very few. So, and the more folic acid and things that aren't good for you, like MSG, that's another one that really messes with our genetics. The more you're exposed, it's like a stacking effect. It just keeps stacking up, stacking up, stacking up, and does a little more damage every time. So that's why you'll notice. And then certain things that, as you age, you'll also notice that your body's just not healing as fast as it used to. There's a whole list of things that start to happen. And like for me, I mean, I was having problems from the time I was born, literally. But it really advanced quickly starting in 98. And really super, super quick in 1999. And that's because I was taking a prenatal vitamin with folic acid in it. So, question, can you create by thought in the astral? Yes. You can also do that in lucid dreaming too. What kind of flour? Wheat flour or cereals or anything like that that's fortified or enriched or anything. Hello, Miss Apple. Addicted to Facebook. Go to Discord, have a small group of friends. Well, we're gonna do a group meditation today, and it'll be our first one. And I think what we'll do is what I started doing originally is I've got a Google Hangout that we use for many of us to talk behind the scenes throughout the week when I'm not doing videos and things. And sometimes I'll post a lot in there and we'll talk a lot, and all of a sudden it'll be really quiet. But if we're in there doing meditations together with intent, to help specific things here on the planet, it will definitely pick up as far as activity inside that particular chat room. What kind of flour do I buy? The wheat flour I buy is called Prairie Gold, and I make my own bread too. And I don't eat a lot of it because I am one of the ones that have trouble with protein and carbohydrates. But I get the unbleached white is made by Arrowhead, and I make my own bread because there isn't any breads on the supermarket shelves that don't have it in there. And even at my local farmers market, there's some Amish people that buy their flour from the supermarket. So even it is, well, they're not Amish, they're Mennonite. Now, there are some Mennonites and Amish here that actually grow their own wheat and sell it. So I could get that, but you have to buy a huge, gigantic bag, like huge. So I'd have to buy some sort of bin to store it in where it would stay good for a long time. But so just being resourceful, trying to, get around the food chain problems that we're having with GMOs and everything else. That's a huge bonus. So anyway, today I was I ran across one of my one of the people that come to our community shared, they told me to take a look at somebody's YouTube channel, and I did. And the gentleman, his channel is Sargel18. And at first I was like, okay, he's interesting, kind of some interesting things. And he did a video that, well, you all, well, the ones that have been watching for a while know kind of the progress of how all this has unfolded for me, with some huge epiphanies, revelations, and things like that in my life. But I had an incident back in July with a being, and I was, desperately looking up to find out who that was that I had the altercation with on 2 occasions. And what's fascinating is there's so many names for one entity because of all the different civilizations and all the different languages. So one being can have a whole bunch of different names. And I just knew it was a horned being. And so came up with Cernunnos, Pan, and things of that nature. Lucifer, of course. But what's really interesting is this Sargel18. He takes photos at a portal. And I've talked about portals. I've only touched on them slightly. But there are portals where beings can travel between dimensions. And like I said, the dimensions are all kind of nestled inside of each other right here around us. And I've pointed that out by looking at webcams at night and things like that, the things that you will see. And orbs and beings can travel in and out of our own dimension, just like we astral travel. So he found a vortex, and he has taken some pictures there. Fascinatingly enough, one of them he called Lucifer. And I looked at the video and I looked at his picture, and lo and behold, the picture of the being that he took is exactly like the being that I took out. I shared that with Sir Tony a day or two ago. Can't remember. But I'm going to do a share screen and show you all what that being looks like. And I think you're going to find it fascinating. Also, I was looking through my videos because I described what that being looked like on several occasions. And I'm trying to find in my videos where I describe what he looked like. And I described him, he looked kind of like Gene Simmons, sort of, really tall. And he was standing there. This is after, well, this is in front of like a building, and there's steps and a sidewalk, and he's on the sidewalk. I should like draw this because it would help explain it. But he had on a long coat, like a long duster, raincoat, trench coat kind of thing. It was a long coat, and it was cold outside. And I know I described that coat somewhere in one of the videos. I don't remember which one. And I went through some of them trying to find that. But anyway, this photograph, several photographs actually, he took of this being coming out of one of these portals is just like the being that I saw in the astral. Exactly. And I found that fascinating because when he took this picture was back in the 1990s. And I don't think he could capture another picture because based on what occurred, that being was transmuted, and is no longer that being anymore, if that's the best way I can describe it. Because energy, you can't get rid of energy, you can transmute it. And that's indeed what happened back in July of this year. So that very being no longer exists, not in that form. So I was going to share that with you all so you all can see what I'm talking about. Let's see if there's any questions before I go into share screen. Let's see. I think I have. Sir Scotty's asking if I've seen Jonathan Click. I have, but I don't recall what he's all about exactly. That's kind of correct in a roundabout way. Basically, we're exiled here because we were naughty. Well, the fallen were, and we're the beings here. Um, the best way to put it is they got caught up in a spiritual war, not entirely of not all of them of their own doing. So many are kind of a victim of happenstance, is a good way to put it. But see, you have to understand, angels and demons are ETs. When this place was created for fledgling creators, the ETs, the angels from other planets, were told not to mess with you, and they did anyway. They weren't supposed to, because you were perfect already. And they'd come in and started messing with DNA and everything else, and creating some of their own beings and putting here on the planet. So it's very complicated but simplistic at the same time. I'm trying to be as basic as I can. But yeah, we're trapped down here with some very ugly, nasty stuff. It's a good way to put it. And they're attacking us because they know what we really are. That's why they're going after our genetic code. And that's another thing, you know, it's not about fear. Being aware of who and what you really are is so huge. And some of you are never going to know that because your DNA's been damaged. And I'm trying to put it as gently as possible, but some are just not listening. And throwing a fit and slamming my fist down on the desk or anything like that is not going to solve it. If it would, I'd use that, but that's not going to work. So, but yeah, we got caught up in it, basically. But we're also, many of us are here on missions. I'm on a mission. I've known most of my mission for at least a couple of years. And I've always known since I was a little kid that I had something super important I was supposed to be doing here. So I've always known I had a mission. I just didn't know what it was about. Now I do. Now I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But many of you have missions too, but you've been sidelined. You got tackled by the linebackers and you're half knocked out and delirious and don't realize really what you are. And you don't realize many of you came here on missions to help. Many of you don't realize this. So part of my mission is getting you all healthy again and remembering who and what you really are and what everybody came here to do, is a good way to put it. Yeah, Sir Tony's talking about how he did those soul contract revocations. Yeah, and I was going to talk a little bit about that today too, particularly when we do the group meditation. Shauna Warrior Princess. Do I agree with T. Taylor and her ideas of the ascension symptoms? part of her ideas are probably what she read from things that have been passed along and perpetrated from that original post. So not 100%. Some of her stuff, yes. There are things going on with our DNA. Some of it's damage to our DNA, but some of it's quite the opposite. And the more awakened you become to who and what you really are, the more you'll blossom. But now well, there's some interesting things going on with her, and I'm still researching some of that as far as the crystalline, because there's several things going on there. I'm still researching it, and I'm not going to say until I get done with that research what it is. But on some things, yes. On other things, no. So best way I can answer it. Because she's just not fully aware of what's happening to her. And I'm trying to help her to understand what's happening. And it's not all genetics. Some of it is indeed an ascension happening. Some of the ascension symptoms, the Mandela effect stuff and the bizarre synchronicity and all that, those are part of that. Let's see. Yeah, the virus has made it extremely difficult for all of us, but we're going to overcome it. That's my mission, is getting you guys through this. So hang in there. It's just a matter of realizing what's going on and doing the steps it takes to reverse that, and the memories, doing that redemption, the inner child, that, because you all, people say, oh, I'm trying to get a hold of Christ. What you don't understand is you are the Christ, all of you. What's inside of you, that inner work I'm talking about, you all are the Christ. And the more you become aware of that and what you really are, fledgling creators, you realize just how powerful you really are. And that's my mission here, is to help you guys with that, to step you along, because we came here on missions. Many of us volunteered for this. So, and we're here to help, basically. You sparkle? Oh, that's awesome. See, I'm still doing research on that, and hopefully I'll be able to help explain what's going on there, with why everybody's sparkling. But the real sparkle is when you do that inner work and you bring the real you out, in, because right now you've kept it trapped in, because the way the virus has done this system, this trauma-based system. What you do is when you're doing that work, you end up living with that child, that true innocence on the outside, and it projects on everything around you in every direction, because you start projecting love outward. Okay? And that's the real sparkle, the real powerful sparkle. When you really take in what you really are and get rid of all that past trauma, where we can go from there, just imagine a bunch of fledgling creators that really know what they are. Then we would be unstoppable. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Yeah. You know, the feeling I get when I'm at home with Adonai and Gabriel, or when I've been in contact with the Foo Fighter ships, is nothing but love emanating from them. And it's amazing. And when you guys really start living it, you'll notice when you're in a chat room with a bunch of us that are really aware, you'll notice the energy. You can feel it, even across the internet. It can be across the other side of the planet, and you will feel it. You'll be able to tell. You'll feel the love. And it's just going to amplify. The more you all are aware of what you are, it's just going to, it's going to get huge. I can tell you that. Absolutely huge. And there isn't anything we can't do. Because when you think about when you were a little, when you were little, and the world was so vast and big, and all the things you thought about, you wanted to do, and nothing was impossible. That's where you need to be, back in that space. Nothing's impossible. Nothing. Nothing is impossible. And live with your innocence outward all the time. And sharing that same feeling that I get from Adonai and Gabriel, and the same feeling I get from the Nomos, the little blue Foo Fighter ETs. That's what they project. Exactly. Innocence, love, completely, unconditional. That's what we're going to do. So, yeah, my last video wasn't to fear you. It was to arm you with knowledge so we can get this process underway and really, really live the way we should have been all along. And the things that we can do because of what we are is going to be beyond miracles. Beyond. Anyway, I'm going to share this video that Sargel18 did of his pictures that he took at that portal. And yes, portals are a thing. I've got my own personal one. I've been filming portals for years now myself. And many of you will have portals connected to you and aren't aware of it, where beings, orbs, etc. are coming in and out of the portals. And I call the ones that have the portals portal guardians. There's also natural portals that are just places on the earth, likely where ley lines are meeting. Other portals I've seen are ones where the portal guardian is no longer on this plane. And those will be running nilly-willy, where good or bad can be coming and going through them unabated. My portal, because I know what it is and I know what's going on, only the good guys can come through it. I've only had one bad guy so far come through my actual portal, and he followed me in here, and that's Belial, aka Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. He's got a whole bunch of different names, but that's the only time I had that happen, and he followed me back through my own portal, basically, is a good way to put it. So anyway, I'm going to share that with you, and then after that we're going to do our meditation, our first one. I'm so excited. You know what, I can't wait for 6 months from now to see the incredible things that happen because of what we're going to be doing. It's going to be fantastic, and you all get to be a part of that happening. Just think how proud you all are going to be of yourselves, and I'm going to be amazed. So proud. I'm already proud of all of you guys anyway. But what we're going to be doing is going to be beyond miracles. Okay. Anyway, let me share screen and I will show you what Sargel18 had for us here. All right. The being that I had dealings with back in July, which based on what Adonai told me, and based on some of the other texts that I got pointed at, that I'm a reincarnation of Phanuel, which is the fourth angel. And part of what Phanuel was supposed to do was take out Belial using God's, Adonai's words, basically. And in that is, I used this bizarre energy sword. I really need like a graphics artist that's really good that could listen to how I describe things and draw them for me. I'm good at drawing, but I'm not great on computer graphics really or anything like that. So I don't know. But the best way I can describe it is, I mean, you look at my videos where I talk about the demon coming from astral into the 3D with me. There's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 videos talking about that specific instance back in July. And I've talked about it on and off through my other videos where I talked about what he looked like and stuff. But anyway, this is a portal that's under a bridge. And you can start to see him here. And then as you go forward, let me try to, I'm going to mute it for now. I linked this guy's video under my, in the description of this stream, so you all can take a look at this. There we go. There we go. And hide that. Okay. There he is. Now, something that he pointed out is something that I did not notice when I had my dealings with this being. This being, first of all, it's carrying something. I have no idea what it's carrying. It almost looks like a scroll of some sort or something. But if you look, the being has something in its back, and I'll point that out. But if you look, he has on a long trench-like coat, just like the being I saw. Just like it. And then if you're really, you know, what's interesting, when you take pictures of portals, and I see this with my eyes all the time, but it shows up in the pictures too. You'll see not only the being itself, the big main one, but you'll see other beings inside of that being. Like, if you look right here, there's a mouth, a nose, 2 eyes, an almost amphibian looking creature right here. If you really pay attention, there's lots of beings actually embedded in these photos. There's actually a horned being right here. There's the nose. Part of the mouth is covered up here, but here's the mouth right here. The chin. You can see the cheekbone right here, an eye. And you see there's like something covering part of the face right here, like something's in front of it. You can see this shape is like in front of it. I'm not sure what that is, but you can see horns coming back right here. So there's a being with horns right here inside of the main being, which is Lucifer right here, aka Belial. Okay. He's got many names. He is a horned being. And if you look at this picture, you can see a nose here, a mouth here, eye here, horns coming up off this one. It's just, yeah. When you start looking at these portal pictures, you'll see, well, it's kind of like what I've recommended you all looking at that webcam at night on that channel that has that live webcam on the beach. That's the same stuff you're going to be seeing at portals. Okay. And the reason you're seeing so much on the beach is because some portals are running basically willy-nilly and there's a lot of activity, and one of those places is at that beach. So anyway, it's really interesting because he got these pictures of this being and it looks identical to the being that I had dealings with. And let's see. Yeah, he's got a close-up here. See, there's like an axe in the back. Now, this is the only thing I cannot confirm about this being. Otherwise, it looks like what I saw. This axe, I did not see that, but it wasn't like I was really paying attention to the being's back. I was more focused on what he was getting ready to do next because I was doing battle with this being. So I wasn't paying attention to whether he had an axe in his back or not. But the long coat and all that, exactly. When I first saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, somebody actually got a picture of him. And years ago, this picture was taken back in the 90s. So, yeah, pretty crazy. But I thought that is just, fantastic. But like I said, there's a link in the video. Another thing that's really interesting is you notice the let me see if this one shows it. You notice the energy going around him and how he kind of almost sparkles. There's like, it looks sparklish. What's interesting is when I'm in my light body, it looks like that, but much brighter, like a whole bunch more sparkles. And even the sword that I used, or that I use, looks like that. It looks just like my body. It's this weird sparkly energy. It's really fascinating, looking at yourself in your light body, or at least mine is. I may be a little bit different than you all, but yeah, the light body is just amazing. It's very impressive. Let's put it that way. And you can kind of see that in this photograph, just how impressive it could be. Can you imagine in the astral how impressive that actually looks? Because this is very dulled down because of photography and the interference, dimensional interference going on. But yeah, they're very, very impressive. Let's say that. But yeah, I don't remember the axe. But like I said, I was in the middle of battle with this thing. It was toying with me the first time. And exactly like I described, like a cat playing with its prey. It was trying to toy with me. And the second time is when he was defeated. And there was a huge release of energy that damn near took me out. Ended up with the air knocked out of me and a couple of ribs dislocated. So yeah, that's a thing. But I wanted to share that with you all. I actually commented below his video about this. And I'm very aware portals, have been for many years. Been photographing things coming in and out of portals. If you look at this one, you can see a face clearly right here. Look at that. There's a mouth, nose, eyes. And it's a humanoid, but doesn't look quite human exactly, does it? But yeah, there's many commonalities. I left a comment under his video letting him know I can verify his photograph, and it is indeed what he thought it was, Lucifer, aka Belial. And I told him, I said, well, actually, according to the ancient text, Phanuel takes out Belial, and his actual name is Belial. And there's many names, Semyaza, I mean, Lucifer, you name it. He used to be an archangel. So very powerful. And what's funny is I didn't know who or what I was completely back when that occurred, back in July when I took him out. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't aware of that, you know. And Adonai, you know, took me to the side and was like, on more than one occasion now. Once at what I call home, he told me I was an angel, and then again that entire day he spent with me pointing at Phanuel, prophetess Anna, and they also in the codes were pointing me at being in the codes it said you or in Anna you are, and that's what started all that. You know, because first he told me I was an angel, and I was like, oh, you know, that's awesome. But I thought, I was pretty sure all of us were angels of varying degrees, basically. But yeah, to find out specifics and getting a name is helpful. And as you guys do your inner work and stuff, you'll start having revelations like that too, and memories of what you really are and who you truly are, and just how powerful you really are. But anyway, I will stop that, and we're going to be doing meditation. So let me pull this up and stop sharing. There. Okay, today is going to be our first group meditation and sending out our intent. And you can call it meditation, you can call it prayer, sending your vibes out to the universe in general. It's all the same thing. But let's see. I'm trying to figure out how, let me pull the chat up and see how you guys are doing and see if anybody had any questions about what I just discussed. Oh, wow, you guys have been talking. How about, I'll go over the chat, I always do afterwards, but if you guys have any direct questions, if you could put them in now, that would be helpful. You know, there's that chat room I've been telling you all about. It's a Google Hangout. And if you want to do meditations, not just on Sundays with me, but do them intermittently throughout the week as well, what you do is send me an email to Critical Break and let me know your Gmail username. and I will add you to the Google Hangout chat room. And that way you can keep up on the latest things going on and talk to the others that are there already and the ones that'll be added, because there'll be new ones. And then we'll do meditations on a fairly regular schedule and start really putting our true power to work for us. And no, it's criticalbreak at outlook.com. Let me put it in the chat. There you go. And just a quick email giving me your Gmail ID that you want to use in the Google Hangout, and I will add you. And then we'll do group meditations in there together. I thought, well, we could do them actually during the stream, but when we're actually in the room chatting with each other, because you can get in there and do it voice chat, you can do video chat in the Google Hangout, and doing that will create an even tighter bond, I think, and amplify our power is the best way I can put it. But so if you shoot me a quick email and I'll add you to that chat room, I think that's probably how we'll do that, is do it in that room. And I was going to talk to you all in that room, getting your suggestions of things that you think would be good things to focus our intent at. One thing that I do that I don't know if anybody's ever done or thought about, but when I'm meditating, you know how most people pray for God for guidance or help or things like that. In other words, always wanting something. One thing that I do is I pray for him and don't ask for anything. Because once you realize who you truly are, you won't need to ask for anything. So anyway, and we focus our power and intent at things, amazing things are going to start happening. Absolutely brilliant. So shoot me an email and I'll get you added. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Google chat room. If anybody needs to contact me for anything else, that same email that I just put in the chat, criticalbreak@outlook.com. It's also in the description under the video. If there's anything that you'd like to come on the live stream and talk about that are helpful tips for MTHFR, helpful tips with some people have, specialties, things that they're really geared at, like using different types of stones or crystals. Some people may have information on RF, EMF that's highly detailed, things that we can do. So if any of you have anything you want to share, or if you've had experiences like my own and you want to come on and talk about it and share with the community, I would love that. So would they. Because it just, when we have common experiences, it's good to share those with the community because it really solidifies and helps us all understand what's going on. Because, like I said, it is a grand puzzle. I figured out a lot of this grand puzzle, but there's still little pieces we need to keep clicking into place. And some of you may have information I don't. And I would love for you to bring that forward. So anyway, yeah, shoot me an email for anything at all, if you have questions or anything. And in the meantime, I hope you all have a brilliant week. I will do the code videos from those codes I got yesterday and this morning, and see what they have to say. And Gabriel gave me the codes, so he always is the one that gives the codes. That's who they come from. So anyway, yeah. So to those that want to be in the chat room and do the meditation, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to take a break real quick, and then I'll start adding people to that room. So say 15 minutes or so, and then we'll do the group meditation together. Anyway, I hope you all have an absolutely brilliant week coming up. Big things are going to start happening, especially with us doing this. Huge. So anyway, have a really, really great week, and I will see some of you very soon and others a little bit later. Anyway, take care, and remember, do that inner work. And remember, do those soul contract revocations. Alrighty? Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.